the deleted scenes. We didn't show you the deleted scenes. We have some
Yeah,
great ones.
there's a lot of stuff on the Blu-ray. This is just a small
It's a
taste
taste.
of there are many, many extras, including, as you say, deleted scenes and deleted songs.
Okay, I'll start. There's a deleted scene called Warrior Face, and it happens to also be a deleted song. And it's a duet between Maui and Moana. And he's sort of trying to teach her the kind of anti-theme, like it's all about the face you make, not how you feel inside. And the demo that you'll hear on the deleted scene on the DVD, we had the great joy of having the Hamilton cast do a lot of our demos. So Philippa Sue, who plays, one of the sisters, the wife of Hamilton, and Chris Jackson, who played George Washington, they're doing Maui and Moana, and it's a great fun scene. It got deleted for story reasons. It was right before what became Shiny, and there's only so much, but that's probably my favorite deleted scene.
Yeah, the demos on this movie were incredible because a lot of the times it was the cast of Hamilton singing the temp versions of the songs before they did the real recording. So that was something. Yeah, one of mine. I mean, there are many scenes. There's a scene I like a lot. I think that's a short scene that was cut. It's a scene between actually Grandma Tala and the chief, her son. They don't really have a lot of interaction in the movie, but this scene, they're sort of arguing about the future of Moana, and you get a really strong point of view of each one of them. I also like that scene because it was the audition scene that we cast both Rachel House, who does the voice of Grandma Tala, and Tim Morrison, who does the voice of the chief, based on that scene that we did. And it was a very nicely written scene. But
You'll all love that line. There's a closing line, can I?
Yeah, sure.
There's a closing line where they're arguing, and the chief says, you'll stop filling your head with these kind of ideas. So says Chief, and she says to him, "This is small thinking and fear talking. So says your mother." Love that line.
Mother knows best.
Mother knows best.
We also have a scene in there that was a fun scene. That in the earlier version of the story, Moana had several brothers. She was like the only girl in a family full of brothers in the first version of the story. So I think from that one of the early screenings, we had this big canoe race where she basically outraces all her brothers and manages to finish sort of first. And that was a fun scene. As the story evolved, the brothers went away partly because we were trying to focus more on gender not being her problem so much as just she's trying to find this voice within. Who is she? So the brothers kind of went away. But it's a fun scene in its own right, and it's got some fun action and things. And we had so many things we considered. I'm not totally aware of everything that's on the Blu-ray, because I haven't seen the Blu-ray yet. But
We did do
right
8
down
different
here,
versions of this movie, basically. We screened it 8 different times, so there were a lot of fabulous deleted scenes. I don't know if these guys have seen them yet, so I don't know if it's a fair
I
question.
haven't seen that many of the pieces.
DVD comes out tomorrow.
Okay. We'll all watch it together.
I can tell you my favorite line that got cut from the movie when Grandma Tala was saying that she was going to come back as a ray, and she lifts her arm and bats the skin and goes, "I've already got the wings for it."
Yes, yeah. Good. So, yeah, we have another question
Thanks,
from anyone. Yeah.
Your visit, sorry. The 30-minute clip showing your visit I was like bawling at the end. What's one thing that you saw from the culture that's still living within that region that you wish that we over here sort of would embrace?
There's a bunch of things.
Yeah,
One of the idea of knowing your mountain is a cool thing, which basically has to do with looking to the past and to the future, that you're the sum of everything that you had. Sometimes in our culture, it's all just about what's here now or what's coming, but they had a real respect for their ancestors in the past. I think we could take a cue from that in terms of moving forward. That's one of the things I liked most.
One thing, there's a big emphasis on connection and interconnectedness. They're again not connecting to the people around you, the people that were before you, and the people who will come after you, and connecting to nature and that sort of sense. I think that people on an island have very strongly this kind of "we're all in this together" sort of attitude that I think is very
obviously, we're in a culture now where there's a lot of talk about walls and building this and building that, and really the lesson we saw down there was an emphasis on the ocean doesn't divide people, it connects people, and so a society or a world where it emphasizes, and I think that's what this film did really, in a way. It celebrates a culture. We're trying to give a window to a culture that we don't know about, and so I think that kind of connection and feeling that we can learn things from another culture, I think it's a valuable.
I think also we alluded to it a little bit, but the respect for nature, the relationship with nature. I talked about it a little bit in the piece because we were on this island, this small island of Manono in Samoa, and we had a kava ceremony there, and this great food that was prepared for us in a very traditional manner, and nothing in that entire meal was manufactured in some other country and shipped. Everything was local. Everything, even like the way they put the taro into the fire, and then you use the hard part of it was your spoon, and the inside was your potato basically. And then we came back from the island. We were with a bunch of young guys, really young, hip, current guys, and we had too many things to fit in the little minivan to head to the airport. I went, oh, no problem. Went to the coconut tree, pulled down some sennit, made rope real fast on their jeans, and tied the stuff onto the minivan. That ability to work with nature and to be self-sufficient and to be in relationship, to always apologize to a tree before you take it down, to be in relationship with nature.
It is kind of when people need something and they just make it.
Yeah, just make it.
That's kind of unusual.
It's the MacGyver aspect of the act.
Do you believe there are still stories to tell to lead into a sequel to Moana?
Oh, I'm sure there are stories to tell. The mythology is very, very rich, and it's something John talked about a little bit, but that we were not familiar with. Somehow we, people in the Western world, we're pretty familiar with Greek mythology. I think people know that, and Norse mythology, and a lot of different ones. But Polynesian mythology seems like it really isn't well known. This is just a taste of some of the kind of fascinating stories, lending themselves very well to animation.
The way we work with sequels here at Disney Animation Studios is that the filmmakers will, after a little rest, come back into development and talk and think about what they'd like to do next. If there's a really compelling story from within a world that we've already explored, we'll look at doing a sequel. It will rarely come from the outside. It'll come from the inside out. This lady had...
I just watching this, my daughter is 3, and she already will sing every lyric, wants to go to the sea. It really has left such an impact, truly from young to, even the grandmother scene, for me, that was an emotional scene as an adult woman. But what's one of the highest compliments that you did receive? You had such this rich research and working with such amazing people that knew the culture, knew the ocean, knew the land. What was after they did do it? And we did see a little bit of it, but was there any nugget that really just stuck out to you that you just went, wow, we did it, we did this?
There were a lot of things. We actually, we got to go back to Samoa in December after the movie had played there for a few weeks, and we went with Ali'i, and it was great because Ali'i, the voice, she was like a movie star there, and everyone, Moana, they wanted a picture with her and all that. But we went to a screening.
People had seen the movie over and over and over again.
There was a what do they call it, like a Boys and Girls Club of Samoa or something, sort of a social thing, for kids. And we went by there just to say hello, and they sang the songs back to her. Very,
The Samoan part of We Know the Way they had practiced, we were all bawling.
I've done a few of these presentations for art colleges around here that have animation programs, and at one of them, a woman came up to me afterwards who was from the Pacific Island and islands, and she was practically in tears, and she just said, "I can't believe you guys did it. You got us on screen."
Was this just Saturday night's thing? Because I just this was before. Because we just did one Saturday night at Laguna at the Laguna College of Art and Design, and a girl came up to me. She works at Disneyland, but she pointed to her badge. She's from Hawaii. She's from Honolulu. She was crying, and she just it really reflected her culture.
It was really meaningful.
Such personal things. It really
when we first went on our first day in Fiji, people were very friendly. They were very open, but there was also a lot of wariness that we ran into, because I think there was a feeling that the way their culture had been portrayed in many films they felt was incorrect and was kind of stereotypical and didn't really get to the heart of things. And we we really wanted to not be that, and so it was very just gratifying to get that response from people where they feel like they recognize a lot of things certainly people in the West do not recognize. They see a lot of the little details and things that were kind of painstakingly.
I don't know how many of you saw the Olympics in Rio this year on TV, but there was a flag bearer from Tonga, a very handsome, hunky, oiled up guy. He came by our studio when we were working on it because through a mutual contact, Dave Derrick, who's of Samoan descent, who storyboarded on our movie, had mutual friends. He came by and saw the piece. We know the way it turned out. He himself, being from Tonga, that his own ancestors were in the Tongan Navy, and he cried. And he said, I haven't cried in 10 years.
For me, there were many, many moments, but one that stands out is I got to go back to Tahiti when we were announcing that we were translating the movie into Tahitian. This is the first time ever the movies have been translated because everybody speaks French, and it was a request that we got from Hinano, who you saw in the film 5 years ago, and we were able to make this happen. And the joy, the love, the reception that we got, it's going to go into all the schools. We're doing the mix actually next week. It's the only movie ever in Tahitian. It's going to be in 60 schools. The Tahitian Language Academy is involved, and people were just like, thank you. We're bringing our culture back, bringing our language back. So, to me, that was the most moving. I think we have time for one more question.
So for the costuming, how, I mean, when you were, so when I saw the drawings, like, did you have, how many versions of each costume do you have before you have to pitch it?
Well, with costuming or design, you have to create so many renditions because, I think how I like to design is present so many options and let these guys go shopping. I would say, like, go in her closet.
And we normally, we're guys, we hate shopping.
We hate shopping, but we did it.
But I made it really fun.
She did. We love shopping with Neysa.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Normally we hate shopping,
But with
but
Neysa,
we
it's a whole
enjoyed it a
different
lot
thing.
in this movie.
Right, yeah.
I mean, to give you an idea, just for the necklace, I think we went through 20-something different designs for one costume. If
John Lasser would weigh in too, certainly.
Yeah.
And John, certainly on her signature necklace, he had some strong ideas of what appealed to him, what didn't. And the idea of that necklace was that, the combination of the land and the sea and that kind of I Ching design that's on there. And it was a very iterative process, but it was a lot of variations. But certainly Neysa would tell us, here's 6 of them. I like that one. Sort of. I mean, it wasn't just us stumbling around in the dark. She would say, well, these are the different features. She would really steer us through this, and we would defer to her sometimes, but other times we'd just say, we like that for this reason or that.
The really cool thing is, as she'd show a costume or any prop she's designed, there's all these references on the side. So I saw this in a high fashion runway, and this in historical photos, and these are materials. So you get a kind of a sense of her thinking that went into the costume each time she shows something, which is really enriching and really helps you understand what she's going for.
And at the end of the day, like, I think, I don't know if you guys do this, but I would always look at it and think, if I was a little girl, what would I want to wear? So I always think that when I look at it, like, would I be excited to wear that?
Were you thinking that, Ron?
I didn't think that quite as much, but I'm
Just
very,
like out of here.
very glad
In
that
the
you
privacy of my own home, I won't tell you which outfits I've worn several times.
Oh, that grass skirt looked great. So,
But actually, no, she did. Even when she was presenting that to us, she would say, like, this has that little girl bling that I like, And it was a legitimate factor because it is. And I've seen. I can't tell you how many pictures I've seen about you and how many of you have young daughters or sons or whatever. But that, where I see the pictures on Instagram or that sort of thing, where they've got. And many of them made themselves. Some of them are the actual.
Okay, here's the coolest thing about
ones
those.
that have been made.
That all those photographs that you see of young girls wearing the Moana costume, they always stand like this. They're not like, they're just standing strong like warriors. I love them. Sorry,
I see
we're
a lot
out
of pictures
time.
like hanging where the girls, on swing sets and stuff, where they're looking at the horizon. I think that's pretty cool.
We're out of time for questions, but did you want to?
Oh yes,
let people...
we are out of time, but John,
I have something
before
to say, before we head upstairs. We have one more special surprise for you. You are the very first audience to see our DVD exclusive animated short. We actually have a little short on the video. It's made by the same artist who did the feature.
exclusive until tomorrow. This is called Gone Fishing, and it kind of features Moana and Maui and the little tattoo character as well as the ocean. So enjoy.
And it is a short. It's just a couple minutes long. Okay.